Okay. This meeting is being held in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey. Notice of time and place of this meeting was published in the annual meeting calendar and was posted on the bulletin board by the city clerk on October 14th, 2025. The 2025 meeting calendar was published in legal advertisements in the Jersey Journal and the Star Ledger in December 2024. Additional notice of this meeting was faxed to the Bergen Record, the Trenton Times, and the Star Ledger on October 14th, 2025. Mr. Faley, would you please do the call to order or whatever we do? Where we do the Pledge of Allegiance next year. Okay. So let's do that. You lead us in that always.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Paul. Commissioner Faley, would you take roll call? You're usually saying the names of people. Okay. Don't kid too much, because.
Commissioner Juresko.
Present.
Commissioner Glover.
Present.
Commissioner Hollaback.
Present.
Commissioner McGady.
Present.
Bellardo is absent. Alternate Commissioner Jesse Wolverden. And Chairman Nowicki.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Great. So next on our list is adoption of minutes of previous meeting. So let us turn to our copies of that. Does everyone have a copy of that? Yes, good. Okay.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I just want to make one comment on things. Can I just verify with the rest of you? Under update on historic properties, it says that what came back from J. Coffey, according to a letter from Cardinal Tobin, the church had not been closed properly. Now it is officially closed? Is that what I don't recall, is that what actually happened? Yeah?
That David said he will look into that,
David?
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we have not had any updates on that. I mean, the last development was what we stated back in May, and we have not heard back. I think we contacted the pastor of St. Mary's for additional information, and he did not respond. So unfortunately, I do not have anything to
Okay, the reason I'm
provide.
asking is I've heard it one way, I heard it another way, and I'm not sure what's actually happening there. Okay. Okay, so we've approved the minutes otherwise. Let's move on.
Mr. Chairman, there
yes.
was an email issued from Mayor Davis's office. It's on the email now.
Yeah, you
About
mentioned
the,
that, and that's why I'm asking.
It's going to be
that-
open in the future.
That's what we're hearing, so I guess we should just be aware what was said at the meeting, and that we approve that is what was said, but that we've heard different since then. And I guess that should go into the minutes of this meeting. Okay? Now, if we go look, there is a packet that I think, Lee, one of the things that you didn't mention was that Dr. Ryan isn't here, that he's out sick, so we don't have the person who's normally taking our minutes. We're going to try to have him work from the videotape of this meeting and take the minutes from that. So based on that, we do have what Dr. Ryan sent us in the mail, which is a set of paperwork. Let's see. There's the ones that are attached here, but then somebody gave me this other one. I don't know. Did you give me this one? Yes. Okay, so this one? Okay.
I believe it has additional supplements. It looks like it
Yeah.
has everything from the previous packet and a couple new.
Okay, so I would say take a look at what's in the packet and just make sure there isn't anything that we should be doing. Most of these all say that we had no concern with it because it was not a landmark site or historic. The property is not historic. The commission has offered either no comment or no objection. Commission has offered either no comment. Commission has offered no objections, no comment. So the ones that are in the packet with the minutes look like there isn't anything for us to do, that they're all okay. So then we turn to the new things that have come through. And, okay, so we have one. It looks like it's all about 78 West 16th Street. So do each of you have that packet? No? Okay, so I have one. Lisa, you have one? No? Okay, so I think that this is new business. We don't have multiple do we have multiple copies of it? Wait a minute. Side address.
A while for me to copy everything,
I think,
something which we were going to
I
discuss
think these
today.
were the copies to give out. Okay, so hold on a second. You need 3 over there, and he needs 3 over there, and then, this may generate communication. Frank, can you look, Mr. Commissioner McGady, can you look at this address, 78 West 16th Street, and tell us what that looks like, if that looks commonplace or if that looks fancy schmancy, it's a landmark. Okay, because he usually does that. They each got one, right? Yeah. It looks like they were all the same. Oh, you need one more. One more, good. Okay, so this is one that none of us had before, and we could take a look at, and we could probably verbally tell Dr. Ryan what we think should be done with it. It says it's a 3-story residential building, south side of 16th Street, between Avenue C and Broadway. The property is owned, and a couple owns it. And it looks like they want to make some changes to it. It's on the agenda for the meeting of December 15th, so we will have another meeting before, and we can address it at that meeting. If any of you have any concerns, that this is, to me, it doesn't look like it's a landmark building. No. It looks rather, typical average and not so fancy. Seems to have a very long, that staircase looks like very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen one that long in Bayonne before. Maybe we could landmark on the grounds that it's the longest driveway in Bayonne. Anyway, I don't see anything, so let's take this under consideration, that we will talk about it at the December 1st meeting. Is that good with everyone? Great. If I'm moving fast, it's because I don't want us to get bogged down in anything. Okay, so that's our review of correspondence. We had placed on the agenda the Chief John Brennan Fire Museum. What's happened over at the Fire Museum is there has been a renaissance. A group of people have become involved as being a board for this undertaking, for taking care, for getting the nonprofit status back for the museum group that's taking care of the building, and for getting their incorporation and their nonprofit status. One of the things that they had a volunteer come up with was an idea that the wall of the building, which I would say, I guess that's the east wall of the building, which fronts on Morris Park, that should be painted. And I believe they've painted a mural of a fire-manic type mural. One of the things that I thought we were going to have time to warn them about is that this is already a state and federal landmark. Therefore, something going up on the walls of it should really get some approval from the state and federal, SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office. And they did not know that they needed to do this. So I've gone back to SHPO and said, hey, we've had a little error here. We would like to expedite getting it straightened out and we would like to go over what's happened and just make sure that everybody's okay with it, that it doesn't in any way change the landmark status of the building. Sometimes if something is done, for example, if the windows were replaced and they weren't replaced with the right kind of windows, we might have an issue. I don't think this is going to be a problem because here it's kind of advertising for the museum. It's very much in keeping with that this is a firehouse building. I don't think it's going to be a major problem, but we still have to go through. There is a form that we're going to be getting from the SHPO that they want the tenants to fill out because the building is city-owned. And because it's city-owned, they want this, to go through. So Dr. Ryan was supposed to be getting that form. I have to check and see where it is. So that's on our agenda, that it's going to be an item that we're going to be addressing in the next couple of months. Anybody who's interested in firehouses and who would like to work with the Firehouse Group, let me know, and I will be glad to pass you over to them. So that's the Firehouse Museum. Let's go to Commissioner Holloway. Any report, anything you want to report on North Street or on the St. Andrew's Chapel?
No, at the last meeting that we did have, I did hope to work on it this summer, but I did have a pleasant surprise this summer. I went to see my cousins upstate, who I haven't seen in a very long time, and then we went to Lake George for practically the entire summer, so I didn't have a chance to do it.
So maybe for the next meeting, give us like some target dates, a calendar of when you think those two things would be done. And if there is anything that you are planning on doing with St. Andrew's Church itself, let us know. If there's something you want to try with that, or if you're just going to work on the chapel and the house at North Street. Okay? Let's move on to Jessica. Jessica, we were talking about the Firehouse Museum. Another issue that the Firehouse Museum has is that I don't know whether it happened before or after the building was landmarked, but the outside of the building was stuccoed. Now, many of the brick buildings in Bayonne are made out of something, I think it's called malleable brick. And there is an issue with brick before 1900 where it was made out of sand, and over time, it turns back into sand. Now, the last thing I want to find out is that I wake up one morning and they tell me, oh, the wall at the firehouse turned into sand and now we have a gaping hole, a block long in the museum. I don't think that would be very good. So I want you to take a look at it since you are the engineering member of the team and see, are we okay with that? Is that safe? And letting the firehouse men, building a relationship with them so that they know that they can ask for you to take a look at their structures and make sure that everything is good in it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If you could give me maybe the
contacts,
contact, and then
yeah.
I'll be able to, I'll get in touch with them. And actually, I
Yes.
could talk to them about the mural too at that point, just find
Well,
out when they
no,
did everything.
The mural is being dealt with by
Separate.
SHPO, yeah, because they have issues with it, and they have a form, and they're going to go through a process of vetting it, et cetera. The building material and everything I want you to work on, and it's Mr. Whitney. Mr. Whitney is a retired fireman who bravely works at that museum almost every day. He is always there. He is always working on making it a better place to teach people and children about fire prevention. And I salute him as high as we could possibly salute him. He's a very good man, a very good guy, and he's done a fabulous job working with Gary LaPalooza and the other council members to get everything moving, to get it back into a nonprofit organization and back into a viable place that can be a source of education for the community. Okay, so you have that, and you also have something that you and we're hoping Mr. McCady will be able to work on, which is we were concerned that we look at doing a nomination for Mount Carmel Church, because Mount Carmel has beaucoup art inside of it. It has a lot of important paintings. It has a lot of artwork. And we're concerned that, should this be landmarked? And we've asked the two of you to take a look at that and see what you can do with that. There are beautiful books that Messrs. Bavitz, Podbielski, and Kowalski wrote about hundreds of pages. I think the latest one we gave you was like 500 pages. And the windows appear to be Franz Meyer windows. That's the conclusion they came to. I'm not sure if they found signatures on them or not, but and there is a lady who worked on the interior artwork. It seems as though, years ago, we always said that the landmarking was basically about the exterior of a building. But in more recent years, we've seen, especially in nominations of different buildings, where how it looks inside had become more important. That if the building inside looked completely different from its original purpose, that was kind of a problem for the State Historic Preservation Office, that they were not so easy to agree that it's a landmark if exterior did not match interior. So, here you might want to take a look at the interior, and we can give you a contact person from Mount Carmel who worked on the art and the artwork of it. There are some artists who are involved in their artwork is in the Polish church in Czestochowa in Pennsylvania. And I think this is his name. Oh, I can't remember his name. I don't want to give the wrong name. But we can connect you up with them and take a look at it and see what you can do with it. I think theoretically all the churches in Bayonne are landmarks, but we seem to need to work on them as quickly as we can because there are different projects out there to try to reduce the number of churches. Okay. Is anyone else working on anything else? Or is anyone else interested in working on anything else?
So I kind of have more of a question. The 250th is coming up of America. I kind of just wanted to know, like, just direction-wise. I mean, I'm kind of a young member of the committee, so I would kind of need like direction on this and like what to do with it. But I know last year my colleague Gina Nowak and I proposed some ideas between the school and the Historic Commission, or just the school and the city in general, and kind of getting that more involved. I mean, I brought my class to City Hall, and we had a little bit of a tour of it. But my question is, are we looking at doing anything for the 250th? I mean, we can think like sans schools as well. Are we doing anything like in partnership with the city for America's 250th? Do we know if there's going to be like a 250th parade or a 250th fair or anything?
I don't think anybody from the city has approached either the library or the Historical Society or this commission saying that we're having a celebration and that they want to coordinate it. So we haven't heard anything about that. Different people are doing different things. I have a booklet that we just published that I'm actually working on version 2 of, and that talks about the paintings. There are about 7 paintings at the library that are based on the Revolutionary War period in Bayonne, and we've created with a grant from the county. They gave us a grant to do this booklet, and I'm just busy mocking it up for version 2, which is coming soon. So it's a catalog raisonné of Andrew Walsh's paintings with a first section that has pulled out all the Revolutionary War things. And as you will see, this is called The Secrets of the Long-Lost Landmarks. It isn't like there are that many things that are still here from 250 years ago. So, I mean, signage. There's a sign where we had a fort. But, there were 2 forts. And, there's not something that we could take people to and say, oh, we're going to take you through a tour of something, because there's nothing left that exists. So that makes it kind of difficult. I think maybe Lee, I'm sorry, not Lee, maybe Joe Ryan can talk to the council members and see if they would like to, they would like to fund and or sponsor something where we could have a team of people get together and figure out what to do. Be it a parade, be it an exhibit, be it, I'm sure we could come up with something. But no one has, as of yet, as far as I know, taken that step of saying to the city, what do you want to do?
Okay, I mean, I don't know if we would be, the extent of what we could do just as a commission ourselves, but I think in partnership maybe with the city or just with the library, or with, I know NJ has like NJ 250. I don't know the extent of that as well. I could speak with people at school and ask what that's like. I think they're more focused on like education and getting kids to do like a kind of NHD-like project for that. But I was just thinking in terms of like, I know we just had like the Italian Heritage Parade. We just, kind of bringing a little bit of like historic spirit to Bayonne. I mean, Bayonne is not exactly the creme de la creme of like American Revolutionary like landmarks, right? But it is still part of like the history of the nation. So yeah, I'm just throwing it out there, kind of, if anybody has any ideas or any direction that anybody wants me to take in the school system to ask for a
But I think
partnership.
What the commission wants to do is to have Ryan talk to the commissioners. I mean, the
Okay, the city council
the
members,
city
right,
council
okay.
members, yeah.
Okay.
And start with that, because we should do this top down, not, you know. And the other thing is, Lee is reminding me that we already have another booklet that talks about all the events that happened in Bayonne during the Revolutionary War. This one talks about the paintings, and this is what we could do, since we are pretty well funded, that we can do signage, you know, is to say, hey, this is a house that's here, and that it's long had a legend that Washington came here to spy on the British. So that could get a sign that says, hey, this is one of those houses. The other house, I actually found the location, but it's kind of in almost an industrial zone now. So it's not that the houses are there, but they were there, and perhaps we can put locations and stuff.
And I mean, if we did have signage as well, and say we did have like a 250th parade of some kind, and again, that would have to come from the top down, perhaps the route of that could take, you know, the historic, you know, landmarks that we do have, and we'd have signage, and, you know, if somebody wants to stop and just,
It's not landmarks,
or,
it's basically archaeological.
yeah, so like just the location, if you will, of the former landmark, right? So, yeah, that was just my idea. I'm just trying to think in advance, because I know, like, we're a little ways away, but it's
Now,
you know,
the other
it's in
thing-
July.
Yeah, the other thing is that the people in Hudson County who will work on this, they have cautioned us that we should not work with blinders on. We do not have to keep this to the 250. It doesn't mean we have to keep this to 1776. They're interested in all sorts of things that are the history of the nation, and the history of the county, the history of, so, you know, it can open up more along those lines. So again, I think it's important the council members get some input, and that based on that, they make some decision about what they want to entertain, what they want to fund. Okay?
Be good for them to know that the historic commission was thinking about it too,
yeah.
right? We were doing our jobs.
Well, we certainly are. We got the first grant for this, and we're interested in more things.
Well, what's interesting is we really haven't put out new signage in a couple years. So
Yeah.
it might be a good first pass at some new historical signage, especially given the occasion next year. It's something to lean into.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to, I mean, we have something up where the Fort Delancey was, which actually was the Bergen Neck Fort. But we don't have anything at the Bergen Point Fort. And I think identifying exactly where that was on the grid and stuff. Also, there were some nasty things that happened in Bayonne. I'll read you something nasty that happened in Bayonne. You want to hear that? Okay. Constable Hook. What happened on Constable Hook? Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Paulus Hook, site of Revolutionary Fort. Okay. Basically, what happened was people got into problems and stuff. There was a gentleman named Joseph Long who was a Tory. He was killed here, but it was in the winter, so his body kind of rigor mortis set in, and he was frozen stiff. But they decided, the American rebels decided that he would be a good thing to use, and they brought him around and they would put him at the front door of a Tory's house, and then bang on the door, and of course, when the Tories opened it, this dead body would fall in. What happened was that was on the Tory side. On the rebel side, the rebels had passes. They were allowed to take food over to Staten Island and to New York to feed the British, you know, living there during the occupation of New York and Staten Island. And they took a gentleman from Secaucus named Stephen Ball. And to make up for what happened to Mr. Long, they took Stephen Ball to Constable Hook, and they hung him from a persimmon tree and left his dead body up there as a rebuttal to the Americans. You know, you killed Long, and we'll kill one for one. So there were some interesting things happening here that most people don't know about. Maybe a Halloween program where we have lots of Stephen Balls and Joseph Longs, zombies, and what else?
Well, in terms of educational, as Jesse Wolin was saying, what about reenactment of what had happened at that time, whether it be at the library or at Bayonne High School, the drama club. They produce excellent plays there, so that's something to be considered.
Yeah, for sure. But I think what we need is the upper level to decide and to drop down to another level where they pick, some representative of each group and get everybody together. Somebody from the school system, somebody from the library, somebody from the historical society, somebody from the landmarks, get us all together. Because they were all working in different, and coming up with totally different things. It usually doesn't work out well. It's usually better to know what somebody else is, especially if we have two people doing the same thing. It becomes kind of ridiculous. So to get everybody together and to start with, how much do we want to spend on this? Okay? And Dr. Ryan will be hearing this by reviewing the tape of tonight's meeting, and he can add that to the minutes, and he can take that. I would assume he would want to take that as an item. Correct, David? Yeah. Okay. This book is pretty good, and this just came out. We have an older one, but this one actually has, the houses that they believe were used as spying houses and everything.
Can we look at getting those, like, maybe, like, no, I don't know how many copies we'd need, but like,
The
we
library has
could,
them right now.
we could get copies. Okay, so I can contact the library and maybe we can get that circulating in the schools next year.
Yeah, what you wanted, this is the first printing. And with something this big, there are over 49 paintings in here. What I had to do was we did 50 copies. And I am already working, if you look at this, it's all penned up. It's all marked up because I'm doing a version 2 printing already. Not so much that there was anything wrong with the information, but some of the photographs need to be lightened a little bit so they can be seen better. Some of the information, there's a list of paintings that are missing. I want to go over that one more time with the library to make sure that they're not in some storage closet that I overlooked. And the other thing is, the nice thing about this is that these paintings were all done by a man named Andrew Walsh, Andrew A. Walsh, who died around 1949. The paintings were given to the library, and then they were really never shown after 1949. We only started showing them in 2022. And one of the things is that Mary Agnes Walsh, his sister, was a school teacher in Bayonne. That should be good for you, right? And she was a poet. So she took 10 of the items that her brother painted and worked on, illustrating, and she wrote poems about the Morris Canal, the Cadmus Farm, the first schoolhouse, Brady's Hall, the beautiful homes along Newark Bay, the La Tourette Hotel, sports, the dummy railroad, what was called Lover's Bridge, which was near the railroad, and the blizzard of 1888. And so like I'm in the new version, it's going to have the page number, so you could look up the poem and then find where it is inside the book. So you have illustrations, you have poetry, and the history. The beginning of it really is essays. I wrote 7 essays about the paintings that were Revolutionary War material, and we had different things. This painting wasn't signed because it's a completed copy of an incomplete painting by one of the original artists from Revolutionary Day, and it was thought it was not by Andrew Walsh because it seemed like it was too high a style and too good, and they thought he was a more primitive. Well, what happened was the wall leaked, the backing paper on the back of the painting got wet. We had to take it off, and there was the signature on the inside of the. So we were able to prove he did this. He did this in 1932. It didn't come in 1949. It already came in 1932 when he did it for the 200th anniversary of Washington's birthday. So we found a lot of information. Then we were suddenly taking paper off of every painting we could take off to find out, is this really the spy house? Where were they spying on the British, etc. So
while you're talking about Andrew Walsh paintings, you want to tell them about Blackjack Pershing and how that was discovered?
It's here. They have to get the book. You mustn't have me tell them everything. They have to get the book. But Blackjack Pershing was. Oh, you mean what happened to the Blackjack Pershing?
The painting.
What happened to it?
Right.
Okay. What happened was it was hanging in the library when the fire of 1959 occurred. And after the fire kind of like whacked the roof. The roof was gone, burned. After that, it rained. So after the fire, the librarians found this beautiful painting of General Pershing. He used to be holding a map of the Battle of the Marne in his hands. But here now, half the painting was white, completely white. When water hits oil, it turns white. It's called blooming. The restorers and everybody calls it blooming. So I sheepishly took this painting to a very famous art restoration person in Manhattan, and I said, is there anything you could do with this? Like, what could you do? I mean, the original map, and it was literally a detailed map of the Battle of the Marne that Andrew Walsh was the map maker for General Pershing. And he said to me, it's bloom. He said, all I have to do is this. And he just took some of the white came off. Underneath was the painting. So the librarians were freaked out because I brought back the painting, and it was perfect. It was like the day it had, last been seen, complete, and it's complete now. And it's kind of like, to them, it was like some kind of miracle. Like, what voodoo did I do to get this to happen? But it was just the science, knowing that put water on oil, and that's what you get. You get a white gloppy mix. Anyway, that's an interesting, I don't think I ever, maybe I should insert that in the book, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it is. And we had another one, the La Tourette Hotel had tar right through, there was this line through it, and everybody would say, why did he put that black line, and it was the tar from the roof. When the roof fell down, it just plopped onto the painting. And my whole childhood, I always knew that painting to have this black line in it. Now it doesn't anymore, because the magic of restoration. We did some paintings at the Firehouse Museum, and they were so dark, because what happens to varnish is as it ages, when it gets to 100 years old, it becomes so dark that you can't even see what the picture is of. And when that varnish is removed, you're back to yellow and red and blue and all sorts of colors that you've never seen in the painting before. So that's what's happened to many of the paintings in Renaissance paintings that have been cleaned. People start to wonder, like, what they were used to looking at was so different from what they see after the cleaning that they kind of like don't know which to believe anymore. Anyway.
Controversy.
Yes.
Whether they should do that or not. Whether the people
Well,
who do the restoration say, well, this is what the artist
Intended
intended.
it, yeah.
But some people say, yes, but historically it has changed and we should keep it the way it looks.
Well, if you keep it the way it looks, it's getting darker and darker until, yeah, I mean, we had paintings that were so black, there was no way you could tell what it was. And then when we undid that, a new painting, it was like, what the heck is that? We've never seen that before. And it was simply because it had been so covered, hidden by time and age. Okay. Is there anything else that you guys, anyone is interested in, anything that you found that you would like to get landmarked? No. Okay. Any other business that anyone wants to bring up?
Actually, there was one thing that I didn't want to drop. I think it was from the June or May meeting. We mentioned some of the Lenape archaeological finds that they uncovered when they were digging up the light rail.
Yeah.
And I never followed up, but we said that
There was a meeting.
in Trenton, they
Yeah.
have,
A museum, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a meeting, I think the problem was Commissioner Faley and Commissioner Hollaback may remember. I think I was absent for that meeting, where it was presented by the museum folks to the Historical Society. Do you recall that? I mean, it's more than a year ago.
Yeah, we did, but
Yeah,
nothing further developed out of it.
yeah. But there is a museum, and maybe we can give you the contact person there and see if you want to work something out. It might be useful to have an inventory of what they have, because there were different things. And it was strange because, well, maybe it's not so strange. I was going to say, it seemed like they kept finding things where there were light rail or Central Railroad New Jersey stations. But I guess the bottom line is that that's where digging would have taken place, and that's where they would have found stuff. So they kind of found them all along. There's the light rail today, and which had been the Central Railroad train bed originally. So there is quite a bit of stuff. There was one piece that I was very interested in because it was a necklace, And I was like, ooh, this would be great, we could sell a Lenape necklace. And they were like, no, 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 these are burial things. These are like holy burial items, and you can't replicate them, and you can't. And I was like, yeah, like I wanted to I let everybody have a Lenape necklace, but no, we couldn't do that. Or we were dissuaded from doing that, so.
Yeah, if we have a contact person though, maybe I could reach
Yeah.
out and because if we're doing signage maybe for the 250, maybe
Yeah.
we want to include some of the archaeological finds also near the
Yeah.
light rail.
Yeah. What I would like to do is take photographs of what they found and then bring them to Bayonne so that we have a set of them. We could even I wanted to get the library to get one of the 3D printers so that we could actually print out the 3D versions of what they have. So we would have a replicant, basically. And you could extend that to photographs of it being installed at the sites on the light rail. Put up some kind of little kiosk at each light rail center that has the artwork, the Lenape artwork that was found. I think that would be great. Maybe what we should do is solicit ideas from ask the Historical Society, ask the Board of Ed to come up with ideas that Joe Ryan can present to the councilman to see whether that sparks interest, et cetera. We could do that. So everybody, I would think, put your thinking hats on and come with ideas for what you might like to see at the next, at the December meeting. And we can ask Dr. Ryan to open a line of communication with the city for this. Make sense? Okay. Now, does anybody want to go home?
Before you want to go home, Mr. Chairman, we have to tell you the next date of the meeting, because there is no meeting scheduled for November because it's an election year.
Right.
So the next meeting is on Monday, December 1st at 7 o'clock in the chambers.
Okay, Monday, December 1st, everyone. Okay, do we hear anyone entertaining that we should adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Take care, guys. I guess we won't see each other until after Thanksgiving. So everyone here and out in Studio Land or whatever, have a nice Thanksgiving, please. Bye.